Namaskar. A very warm welcome to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to invite you all to the National Seminar Conference on Dharma in Text and Context, Theory, Practice, and Historical Insights. I have the honor of inviting our chair for the session, Professor Anand Mahanand. Professor Anand Mahanand is a distinguished scholar and professor of English at the English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. His work spans the fields of English language education, tribal and indigenous literatures, folklore studies, translation studies, and multilingual pedagogy. Widely respected for his commitment to inclusive and learner-centric teaching, he has authored and edited numerous books and research papers that have significantly shaped contemporary approaches to language and literature in classrooms of India. Professor Mahanand's research foregrounds marginalized voices and native knowledge systems, and his scholarship continues to inspire students and educators across the country. Known for his clarity, warmth, and mentorship, he remains one of the most beloved teachers at EFLU. Professor, I'll now give the mic to you to chair the session. Please take charge.
Thank you very much for that generous introduction. Dr. Akshaya, Dr. Jain, esteemed and distinguished professors and participants, it is my proud privilege to be here, and I consider myself very lucky because I will be listening to a talk that will give me or give all of us directions how to go about in research. I will just take 3 minutes to contextualize this particular topic. I would like to tell a story from Sarala Mahabharata. Once Dhritarashtra and Gandhari were talking to each other, and Dhritarashtra, King Dhritarashtra said that he would not be able to get this responsibility of becoming the king because of his deformity. And Pandu could hear that, and he talked to Kunti, and he said, my elder brother was saying like this, so I feel very uneasy hearing this, and I would like to give him the chance, and I would prefer to guard his kingdom by staying away from the palace, and I will be living, let us go and live in the forest region. Yes, so they went and lived in the forest region, and his guru came there, and Pandu consulted his guru, and he said that I have decided like this to be away from power and to safeguard my brother's kingdom. Then his guru said, you have done a right thing, because in this world, whatever good deed you do, that remains. Katha rahijaye. Katha rahijaye. Ei duniyare katha rahijaye. So katha rahijibo. Whether you get heaven or earth, that we don't know. Whether you'll get another birth, a good birth or not, we don't know. But ei jo bhala kama kala, seta katha rahijibo. So that is dharma, according to my understanding. If you do good deeds, then you are remembered, and that is why our activities, our academic activities, should lead to dharma. Dharma will show the way. When we do research, it should be for the benefit of larger good. And to talk about this, we have an eminent professor who will be speaking or will be guiding us with methods and materials to do research. And we have a lot of resources. We have a lot of examples like this in our stories, epics, and so on. We should draw examples and do things that will benefit our society instead of following the Western theory so much and using our resources as raw material. There is somebody who said jocularly that when somebody catches cold in the West, we sneeze here. So we should not be doing that. But I feel very fortunate that Professor Jain is with us and will be guiding us with methods and materials to do academic research. And religion will be our source. I welcome you, sir, to this meet. And I would like to give a brief introduction of Dr. Jain. Dr. Pankaj Jain is Professor and Head Humanities and Languages and Director of the India Center at Flem University, Pune, a Fulbright Nehru and Indian Institute of Advanced Studies Fellow. His research bridges sustainability, Dharma studies, and Indian philosophical traditions with a focus on bridges sustainability, Dharma studies, and Indian philosophical tradition with a focus on the intersections of ecology, ethics, and religion. He is the author of 8 books, including Jainism from Bhagwan Mahavira to Mahatma Gandhi, and Dharma in America, a short history of Hindu Jain diaspora, published by Routledge in 2019. Dr. Jain's interdisciplinary scholarship advances the academic study of Dharma as a vital framework for understanding contemporary global and ecological challenges. I feel privileged to welcome you, sir, and now he'll be speaking on academic study of religion, theory, and methods. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Mahanand, and thank you, Professor Rath, for organizing this panel, this workshop. When we all heard of this conference, I think we were all really elated, excited that something like this is happening. So we all sent our papers, and first annual, and he's already committed that he wants to do it again. So I thought what I can contribute. Even yesterday, one of the students was asking me, "Sir, आपका plenary तो हो गया, आप paper present क्या करने वाले हो? Plenary तो हो गया." So I thought I can present. What I can present is, like I was telling you in my other session, that my first degree in computer science is from India. Computer that came from US to India, right? Isn't it? My master's and PhD is in religious study, Dharma and ecology, from the US. Dharma that reached from India to US, but I had to go to US to get a degree, grad degree and doctoral degree from the US. So I thought with that little bit of a unique kind of a background with 2 degrees in religious studies, which we don't even have in India, with 3 or 4 exceptions we do have in India, Nalanda and other Jamia Millia and so on. But mostly we are yet to set up a proper department of comparative religions in India. It's not as widespread as philosophy or literature or English and so on. So this is my humble little bit sharing of what I learned at Columbia University while doing my master's in New York, and at University of Iowa while doing my PhD. So what we do, there's so much to talk about. I can go. So let me give you 2 different words first. One word is theology, right? The other word is religious studies. Now these are academic words. Almost all Ivy League universities, so I will be talking a little bit more on US, because US took the leadership, pioneer country where religion is studied from an academic perspective is the US. So you will be hearing more about US, but we don't, of course, we don't have to copy anything from the US. This is just to take some ideas. If that works for us in India, we'll take those ideas and or we'll just reject. But I'll share a little bit more from the US side. So in US, Ivy League universities such as Yale, Princeton, Columbia, Harvard, they have, with universities, world class and most expensive and so on, but with universities, they also have divinity schools, something which we can't even imagine here. Can we imagine JNU, JNU divinity school? It's just out of question. But in US, they have set this up. What they do in divinity school, we can't imagine here, but I'm just sharing what they do. In divinity school, they study theology. In theology, the base remains mostly Christianity, that too Protestantism. From that perspective, they study, base is all established in Christianity. Then they go out and study Hinduism, whatever, Buddhism, with very extremely critical lens, as you might expect. So that is called as theology. Theology means study of God. Theo means God. Logy study. Study of God with the idea to gain salvation or to progress in your spiritual life. Clear so far? But the other thing is religious studies. The counterpart to theology is called as religious studies. That is set up in public universities. Ivy Leagues have theology. Public university, tax funded, US citizens and green card holders and even H1B visa holders, they pay taxes. I lived in US for almost 3 decades. So I'm speaking as a taxpayer in the US also now, but of course with Indian blood and Indian soul. So we funded the religious studies department in the US, public universities, mind you. Now again compare with JNU. Can you imagine? Not yet, but probably we have to imagine, we have to think of those things. Because wherever we go, we will be living outside India, wherever we go. This is the only Hindu majority land in Nepal. But let's say if our undergrad students or whoever ends up in South Korea or Israel or US, they have absolutely almost no background. They have no information on Judaism. History of Judaism, no, nothing. Old Testament, New Testament, nothing. Who was Abraham? What was Adam and Eve story, Garden of Eden? We just don't study all these things. We study philosophy. But religious studies is a different ball game. For religious studies, what happens, why I'm giving you all this background, because we get really confused. If we are studying religion in a university, are we studying to gain moksha? No. In university, we do it from academic perspective, comparative perspective, historical perspective, philosophical perspective, anthropological perspective, psychological perspective. So I'll be showing you all these intense theories, little bit intense, dense theories. How do we apply these Western theories? But don't we? Of course, we never apply any Western theory with a like blind as a blind follower. We look for the origin of the theory also. How this theoretician, big theoretician Freud or Marx or Weber or Jung, how exactly they got these ideas? Where did they get these ideas from? Clifford Geertz. Any anthropology students here? Any anthropologist or psychology student? So all these theories have been applied to religious studies. So religious studies as a discipline, as an academic discipline, not theology, please. So you have to really make this mental separation. We are not studying theology. Even in we can't imagine, we don't even have religious studies in India. But theology we can probably never do in public setting. Is that clear? This difference. So in religious studies, then we do it from academic perspective and with applying all these theories. But before all that, I also want to thank Professor Mahanand. Where is this? Yeah, Professor Mahanand. I really liked what you said in the end when you're introducing, not my bio, but what you said is, whatever we do in a university setting, it should progress the cause of Dharma. That was so wonderfully stated. I couldn't have said it better. I was thinking of saying something like that, but you set the stage perfectly. So I think in my humble opinion, it's a privilege that we all are, whoever we are in humanities, social sciences, it's a privilege to be able to devote our time and energy based on the funding that we get again from the public. Most of us are probably in public setting or private setting, even then it's a privilege. So how do we use this privilege to advance the cause of Dharma, but also to advance the cause of India also? Dharma and India, I guess, probably is almost synonymous. Because Professor Arvind, I'm reminded of Professor Arvind Sharma at McGill University. He said that India is probably It is the only civilization, country, culture that has been studied extensively for more than 2 millennia by non-Indians. What is the first authentic book about Indian history we get is Indica, written by who? Megasthenes, Greek scholar. Then we have to look for Wensang and Fayan, Chinese scholars, right? Greek scholars, Chinese scholars. Then Al-Baruni, Middle Eastern scholar or Islamic scholar, right? Then come what Mughals wrote for us or what British wrote for us. So we have to critique and criticize all those past writings as if you want. So what we can do in comparative religion department, the base has to be again based on Indology, based on Dharmic studies, Dharma studies and so on. And then we go out and study other cultures and other religions also. So all that onus is on us also. So that is what you hinted a little bit. So as we go out in the world, our humble attempt should also be to advance the cause of Dharma, cause of India, become cultural ambassadors for India, outside India of course, but even within India. Even within India, how many of us have actually sat down and studied what is Vedanta, for example? Vedanta probably everybody knows now. Yesterday somebody was asking, why is it called Vedanta? Is it end of Veda? Yes, literally in one sense, but in much deeper sense. Bhagavad Gita and so many things. So all those, with that, all that background, let me start now. So academic study of religions, I'm not sure if other fields also have these kind of courses. Theory, do you get the, let's say somebody wants to do a PhD in political science or psychology. Do you teach a course, professors here, do you teach a course in which you say theory and methods to study psychology? Do you have this course, such course? Or political science, theory and methods to study political science. Something similar is happening in religious studies. Okay. So much of background. Now let's start. All right. So yeah, I already I tried to introduce the religious studies as a field. How many universities already have this department? I'm aware of Jamia Millia, but which calls it comparative religion department. Nalanda has it, comparatively. Nalanda has it, and somebody was saying with 2 or 3 more examples. So I don't think so. Varanasi probably. I think they're setting it up now. I don't think it's already set up. Or already set. Okay. So we would love to learn from other examples also. These examples, what I'm sharing is from my academic training in the US with all its baggages and whatever. I will try to critique that also, but with that background, I'm just sharing what I learned as a student in the US. All right. So I compared, already contrasted religious studies and theology. Now okay. This is the major textbook that introduces theories to study religion. How do we study? We can't, once again, I keep repeating the same thing. We are not doing theology. This is not about attaining moksha or going to the Sharan of Jagannath Prabhu, which we all are devoted to. But this is not about all those things. This is done in an academic setting. So what are the theories that at least the Western academia has tried to apply to study religion? So with that we'll study. Okay, now big question, what is religion? We'll get probably infinite answers to what religion is. So these theories will try to define religion from all kinds of different perspectives. Some theories are extremely critical of religion. Religion should be outcasted, should be removed and all that. It's extremely critical, like Marx and Freud. They treated religion like almost like opium of masses, as you know, right? Poison, opium, all that words you can use. How does it function? How exactly religion develops? Why religion developed? What purpose it serves in larger society? Does religion have any inbuilt utility, or it serves some purpose? Let's say in Marxist terms, let's say higher classes, how they try to exploit so-called lower classes, or Freud, I'll get into more detail. So what function does it provide? Functionality does it provide? We'll study that. Why do humans practice it? So some will say, some theoreticians, and probably many of us sitting in the room also will say that religion has some inbuilt inherent utility. Some of us might be already critical, religion should be criticized, critiqued, and we should be extremely careful how we practice it. So all those ideas will take. Okay, let's go to the next. So yeah, those who are interested can note down this book's name. It's available on Amazon and everywhere else. All right. So okay, why religion is important? So religion is complex. We all know that supernatural practices, institutions. 84% of the world is an adherent or a practitioner of one religion, or perhaps more than one religion. Is it true? Can somebody be a practitioner of more than one religion? religious traditions. So take it very in a broadly. So we are talking global terms. So don't say that religion is not India, Dharma is not religion. I know, we all know all that. But globally, can you think of some people outside India who may be adherent or practitioner of more than one religion? Not you, sir. Strong Vaishnavism, nahi. But more than one. Can we adhere to more than one? Example? Example? Yes, example? Who said yes? Bataiye, example, bataiye. Example, please. Please raise your hand so I can see. It's a workshop, so highly interactive. You want to make it? Any old. Okay. Okay, that's a good example. Yeah, thank you. And yes. Up haath par. Bataiye. Hinduism and Christianity. Any example? Can you think of? You yourself? Okay, okay, all right, okay, great, thank you. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Right. Okay. Right. Right. Is based on Krishna. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes. In US, you're saying? In India. Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you. So all these Indian examples. Okay. Great. Thank you for sharing. Let me add to you. If you didn't know, probably you already know. But if not, let me add some more information. In Japan, they say that more than 60-70% of people are practicing Buddhism. Also, more than 60-70% of the people are practicing Shinto. They say you're born Shinto, but you die Buddhist. Because life rituals, the rites of passage are all done around Shinto practices. The death rituals are done around Buddhist practices. Because Buddhism has the idea of rebirth. Buddhism that went to India, from India to Japan. So because of the rebirth, Japan also has this idea. So some cultures do have that also. But at least one religion, almost all the world, 84% of the world, according to Pew Trust research, are practicing or practitioners or adherent of some religion. The why study it addressed big question: what is it? How does it function? And why do humans need it? Why do humans need it? Any guess? Very quickly. Why? What might be the need or utility of religion? Very quickly, very fast. Yeah, prompt. Yeah. Community purpose, a higher purpose, feeling of interconnectedness, and so on. All those things. Yes, exactly. Yes, please. Right. Yes, yes, sure. Right, right, right. Right. Yes, yes, yes. That's also true. With appreciation, also you can add criticize. So people are extremely critical of it. So all that is also. But here we're talking about the adherents and practitioners. They actually believe or practice or adhere to some religious philosophy or religious tradition. No, yeah, right. Okay. So religion evolves. 84% of the world officially identifies with one religion or the other. Yet even with this data, I think it's a big surprise that in India we do not study religion in any academy. There are some exceptions again, Nalanda and Jamia Millia and so on. But mostly we do not study religious tradition. Whatever we know about Hinduism, because of probably our parents, grandparents, or Amar Chitra Katha or some TV serial, very little we actually study properly. Okay, so Hindus are 15%, Christians almost 30%, Muslim 25%. These data you can easily get from. Okay, now the first major theory to study religion. What theories made mistakes also? This is not like some divine word. We can criticize this theory also, but I'm just like once again introducing what are the tools to study religion. So first theory is which focuses on primitive beliefs. Now primitive word itself is a loaded word. What is primitive? What may appear to me as a primitive, let's say a blind faith in some human figure, that figure is a god. That could be extremely primitive from my perspective, but from that person's perspective, my belief in, let's say, a banyan tree or tulsi tree might be actually extremely primitive. So these are all loaded words, but that is how the early anthropologists, in the colonial times, as they went out in the Asia and Africa, they found everything primitive. So extremely critical they were of Hindu traditions, Asian traditions, African traditions, South American traditions, so on. So origins in primitive beliefs. religion as evolution from animism, that is spirit in nature, to higher forms. So they saw that everything else, that we are the best colonialists, that is British colonialists were the best, and whatever they found in Asia or Africa were all extremely primitive, and they will also eventually evolve. Once we convert them into Christianity, they will also become like us. So that is the kind of intellectual trajectory they were following. Right? So the thinkers were E.B. Tyler, animism as soul belief, it eventually became in Hinduism. Fraser and Tyler, these theories go together, magic, religion, and how religion replaced magic, science will replace eventually religion. Even probably in our country, probably Jawaharlal Nehru was one of those kind of thinkers, that religion will be replaced eventually by science. Many people probably think that religion is still very primitive and science will take hold of the people. Sorry? Oh. Right. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, and then indigenous Australian Dreamtime stories also explain natural phenomena. In India, I think in every village we can find such stories as well. So all these, do we call them all primitive, or from their own perspective, it's not primitive, but from outsiders' perspective, it's primitive. So all those problems are also inbuilt as we try to study religion. Critic, so extremely, like I said, Eurocentric, colonial, ignores ongoing animist practices. Do you know of any animist practices in Odisha probably? Can you think of some like that? Where a tree is considered divine, people go and do ritual, yeah, across India. So outsider might call it, it's animist, primitive, whatever, but it's extremely evolving. And in fact, this primitive view might help us in restoring our environment. That is what may lead to spiritual ecology. How? Because animist believers that there is divinity, there is consciousness, there is sacredness in every particle of the universe. If that is the belief, if that is the primitive belief, so-called primitive belief, that makes the entire ecology divine. Every tree divine, every rock divine, every serpent divine, every mountain divine. So what once people thought of as primitive, today is extremely valuable and sacred and important to save the world's environment. So that is the first theory. And the shamanism, yeah, again, shamanism is a great word for insiders, but from outside people can call it primitive, but that primitive now has been challenged, that word, because of the environmental consciousness. Right, exactly, parenthesis, yes, it's all those words are almost synonymous, exactly. So this is one picture from African traditions and primitive. Okay, now, how many of you are Freud experts here, Freud scholars, psychology experts? No? No? Oh, psychology I thought is very popular these days in the, okay, yeah. So yeah, these are the two figures, right? Freud and Jung, they were intellectually connected, but then Jung went beyond Freud, right? So how they treated religion, extremely problematic. They saw religion as a projection of the inner psyche, wish fulfillment or archetypes. So key figure, Sigmund Freud, he saw religion as illusion for neurosis. Religion is to be discarded, religion is almost like a disease, and those who practice religion are all crazy people, psychotic people to be discarded. Carl Jung, his younger colleague, younger student, came up with challenge and criticism for Freud, and he developed, India influenced Carl Jung, and he developed his own theories of archetypes. One big, very popular or famous archetype that he developed was return of the hero. Return of the hero is a theory in which he says, think of Rama and our Pandavas, and in the Greek epic Odysseus and Pandavas and Rama. Rama starts from Ayodhya, covers the entire India and goes to Sri Lanka, Ceylon, Sri Lanka, whatever, Lanka, completes his mission, return of the hero to Ayodhya, Rama. Pandavas, similarly, forest, right, get all the divine weapons, come back, kill Kauravas, and mission accomplished. Something similar happens in Greek culture, something similar happens in many other cultures. So Jung developed this archetype of studying all these religious traditions with these examples of archetypes. That can also be one theory that can explain all these ideas present. And the idea of flood. How many of religious traditions have the idea of flood? Mahapralaya, or almost all, Hinduism, Christianity, Islam. So the archetype of flood, archetype of return of the hero. So these common archetypes can also help us in comparing and contrasting different religious traditions of the world. So that's the second 2B. You can call Jung's theory as 2B. 2A was Freud, extremely negative, but Carl Jung was much more positive towards religious tradition. So explain belief via subconscious drives, fears, or needs. Subconsciously, what happens? Freud's theory was what happens in childhood, in our childhood days, affects us almost entire life. Many Bollywood Hindi films, or even probably Odia and Tamil Telugu films also show what happens in childhood affects how the hero takes the revenge in later on. So this childhood theories influence our religious tradition also. That is what Freud explained. So Freud said wish fulfillment and Jung said archetype. Modern relevance is explain therapy's role in spiritual healing. Even today in mindful apps and so on, the therapist will talk about childhood days first. What your parents did to you is affecting your entire life. So why do humans create and follow religion? So based on your experience in the past days, in the past decades. Okay, third theory is coming from Durkheim. Any sociology student here? Sociology? But Durkheim is a big figure in sociology, right? Isn't it? So Durkheim said his theory was based on that religion binds communities together. So if we apply Durkheim's theory to, let's say, why we worship Ganesha so much in India, if we take Durkheim's word wholesale, we might think that elephant or cow or monkey must be extremely important for our communities. Cow especially definitely is, because we were always an agrarian society. We really valued our cattle. Is that the reason cattle became so divine for all of us? Something to think about. If we don't agree, we can criticize that observation coming from Durkheim, or that applies to monkey or even elephant. So this is one other theory, one other way to interpret religious tradition and religious practices. Religion binds community and provides moral order. So community comes around that one central figure, maybe elephant, maybe a stone, maybe a pole, and the entire society is committed to that. Right? And in Islam also, you know that why one Kaaba connects the entire Islamic community. So all those ideas, how society comes together basically. So the word that he used was totems as society worship. Second, again, so there's 3A and 3B. Max Weber developed other ways, which we'll see in the next slide also, but briefly, Weber wanted to interpret why Protestant Christians went out of Europe and conquered almost entire world, right? South America, North America, Africa, Asia. Why? So as he himself was a Protestant, when he is studying his own community, he wanted to say that Protestant ethics inspired Christians to develop extreme hard work, extreme adventurism, and go out and win the world. Now, from his perspective, they are doing a great thing, winning the world and spreading Protestant ideas and so on. But the natives of the people in South America, Africa, or Asia might have a different perspective. So this is again theory, how theory develops and how theory is applied to different societies. There could be insider's view, there could be outsider's view. As somebody was saying, emic and ethic. I think, yeah, Professor Fernando from Sweden, he was talking about emic and ethic. From emic perspective, it's great application of Protestant ethic to win the world. From ethic perspective, it's a great injustice done to Africa, Asia, and South America. So again, we have to be mindful as we study these traditions academically. Yes. Sorry. Right. Yes. Yes. So this is extremely rational study of religious traditions, away from faith. So yeah, so like I said in the beginning, I was trying to say, this is not theology. So one can be extremely critical of any religious tradition that one is studying. So it's a challenge to balance emic and ethic perspective. Emic could be away from rationality. Emic could still be based on faith, but ethic would be based on rationality. That is the challenge. It's like walking on a tightrope, and how do we balance emic and ethic? That is the whole challenge. Yes, right. So there are kinds of Australian Aboriginal clans related to that, and overlooks conflict, religious wars. Like I was saying, natives in South America might not be all welcoming the European colonialists, and so that conflict we have to be also careful. How does religion foster or fracture social cohesion today? Is today all these things happening? Maybe intellectual colonialism that might still be fracturing the indigenous societies across the world. So we have to be mindful of that also as we apply Weber's theory. I think I have one more slide on Weber. All right, next one. Next one is your favorite. How many are Karl Marx favorite? Any fans of Marxism still present? He is the one who said. Okay, economics, fellow economists here. So what did Marx do for religion? Opium of masses, right? I think I have a quote here also. Yeah, religion as a tool of oppression, masking inequality. He said opium of the people. It distracts from class struggle, right? Religion is like ye goli kha lo religion ki aur bhul jao class struggle ko, right? Isn't it something like that? He said. But then came in Christianity. So in some tradition, probably let's not name, but some religious traditions, even in Jainism and Buddhism, wealth is treated like with a lot of negativity. That wealth keeps us away from spirituality. But then, as a reaction, developed some modern prosperity gospels. That prosperity, wealth, is also a blessing from the divine. That example we have in India in the form of goddess Lakshmi. Right? And then also some feminist critiques that religion is extremely, probably all the females will agree here, that religion is extremely patriarchal, and it becomes another tool by the patriarchy to dominate, to repress feminism or ecofeminism. That's another critique of religion coming from Marxist kind of ideas, scholars such as Mary Daly and so on. So does religion empower or exploit the marginalized? That's the key question. If you agree with Marx, you will say that religion is always exploiting the marginalized, including women and minorities and so on. But are there any exceptions? So something to think about as we apply Marx on the study of religious traditions. Right? All right, next theory. This is extremely dense material. I know it's not fun material here, but this is what we have to empower ourselves if we want to study religious traditions of the world. All right, next, Weber is coming back here. Religion motivates. Does religion motivate ethical, rational behavior in society? That is the question that he raised. And he came up with this idea of charisma, that there was a prophet, extremely charismatic, but as he passed away, as he moved on, his next generation routinized that charisma. It became a multinational corporate kind of a structure, and to spread those ideas in Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, how those ideas spread. That is how he studied Max Weber. Charisma was rationalized, what the word the sir used. Bureaucracy was created to spread the idea of Buddha, Quran, and Bible. All these things happened because of this. And that developed, in his words, Protestant ethic to go out and, like I was saying, conquer the world. And that led to industrial rise. Why Europe took the lead in industrialization and Renaissance and massive economic progress, while Asia and Africa lagged behind, South America lagged behind. So that he said in his words, because of Protestant ethic, that inherently Christianity or Bible has something inbuilt into it that inspires Protestant, not Catholics. Even there he made the distinction. Not Catholics, but Protestants went out and conquered the world because Protestants rejected the Bible, rejected the Pope, and relied only on their self-efforts. So self-efforts empowered them to go out and win the world. That is his theory. I'm not saying we have to agree with that, but how those ideas, how those kind of interpretation, these theoretical lenses we can think of applying to other traditions also. Yes, sir. Yeah. No, you already answered the same question. Yeah, I mean, anything can be taken to any extreme, right? Holocaust, Christians did to Jewish people in Germany. Some people connect Holocaust with Nietzsche's ideas of Nietzsche, and Nietzsche was criticized and so on. So yeah, I mean, I can't say yes or no, but we can connect. We can think of that connection. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So how one theory leads to the yes. All right. Yeah. I'm sure. Uh-huh. Right. 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 Yeah. Right. That's a Protestant ethics misapplication. Yes, yes, yes. Time is over, almost over. Or man, I have to go fast. All right. Then this other thinker, psychologist called James, was influenced by Swami Vivekananda. He actually met Swami Vivekananda in New York, and he developed his own theories, which were based on the phenomenon of people like Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna Paramhans, those who were self-enlightened people. So we have to value their psychological experience. We can't just say it's all because of society's social class struggle or whatever. So that was about William James. Time is almost gone, so I have to go fast. Eliade was actually lived in India, highly influenced by India. And he said, let's go out and study again the religious tradition, religious experiences of different people. And let's take them at their face value without criticizing them. That was Eliade. And then we have even Pritchard, he said something similar, also go out and study the native people, indigenous people, and value their experiences. These were all pro-religion people, you might say. Marx and Freud, anti-religion scholars. These were more pro-religion scholars. Then Clifford Geertz also studied Hindu traditions in Indonesia, not here, India, but Indonesia, and he tried to interpret cockfight in Indonesia and how that can be interpreted to study the Hindu influences in Bali, in Indonesia. All right, next, yeah. So now we probably cross-cutting theme, religion as evolving stories, shaping identity, morals, parables, indigenous oral tradition, Buddhist Jatakas, Ramayana retelling in Tulsidas, and many, many regional variations, folk variant in tribal Odisha. How do retellings, for example, Netflix adaptations, change religious narratives in Bollywood? All these questions we have to raise when we study religious tradition. These are the ideas, how we apply different theories and how religion keeps evolving. That is the idea. Those questions we have to explore. And finally, because time was gone, so I've just cut short. And so approach religion with empathy. My humble, I guess, 2 cents. We should approach religion academically with empathy, critique, and comparison. That's the tightrope we are walking. Vital for global dialogue. Theories provide complementary perspectives. Key takeaway, religion can be studied as meaning, function, society, that is sociologically, historically, by applying or interpreting its symbols, power, that is Marx, evolution, Fraser and other scholars, cognition will be psychology, William James, and narrative, Clifford Geertz. All these theories we take with pinch of salt. They may or may not apply to our situation here, but we at least take those ideas because those are the ideas that are prevalent outside India at least. And so we should encourage critical, empathetic, and comparative study of religion. That is one way. This is not the only way, of course. This is one way I thought I'll share with you what I learned and what I critique. Many of these ideas I heavily criticize. I wrote papers, published papers criticizing these theories also. But something I thought I'll share as our great colleagues from Odisha were doing this conference. I thought I'll come and share my humble experiences as a student of religious studies for decades now. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I'll try.
Respond to those questions. Yeah. Yes, please.
Micro.
One of my hypotheses in my research, I'm doing research on Dharma, constitutionalism, and Indian democracy. I'm trying to project Dharma in a political theory manner. So one of my hypotheses is Dharma is neither religion nor faith, because as I establish this, then only I can project that Raj Dharma should be followed and things. So what framework can you provide me? What text can you provide that I should follow? Because first of all, in my opinion, in my limited understanding, I understand that I have to define and elaborate what faith is, then what religion is as per the Western and the Indian understanding, and then how Dharma doesn't fit into faith and Dharma doesn't fit into religion, and that's why we should take it as a universal understanding rather than associating it with a religious context. So what can you recommend me,
yes,
sir, on that?
Yes. So yeah, so I think one of the best starting points could be we treat even Arth Shastra as one of our Dharma Shastras, isn't it?
Yes.
So not Shrutis, but Smritis. Shruti and Smriti are different, right? You know, Vedas and Upanishads are Shrutis.
Yes.
But among the Smritis, we treat Arth Shastra also as one of the Smritis.
Yes.
Written by Kautilya, who say some say it's a mythical figure, but I think he was actually a historical figure.
Yes.
So one way could be to start with that.
Okay.
Then think of this word, probably you already know, probably all of us already know Raj Dharma. Right?
Yes, sir.
Raj Dharma is not Raj religion or royal religion, but duty of a ruler, duty of
Yes.
administrator.
Yes.
So think of that word and how it evolved over the years.
Okay.
Then probably think of starting from again, go back to Kautilya Chanakya and how Chandragupta Maurya applied these ideas, how Ashoka applied these ideas. So you might even think of adding, even today there are edicts present in near Girnar in Gujarat,
Yes, sir.
and right here near Bhubaneswar, probably all of you know this, that Ashoka's Shilalekh.
Yes.
So how people have interpreted that, how Raj Dharma was to be declared, written on the wall, literally written on the wall on these rock cuts, on rocks and caves and so on, and how those ideas were applied as he was trying to rule.
Historical evidence.
Historical evidence, even scriptural evidence,
Yes.
right? Archaeological evidence,
Yes.
right? And how these ideas evolved over the time, and what is missed in current constitution. Probably you might do a comparative study.
Yes, sir. That.
So all those ideas. You can
And so
And-
one
yeah,
one
yeah.
more question. I'm so sorry, sir. First, that there are many interpretations and more misinterpretations of the text, that Indian scriptures,
Yeah.
ancient Indian scriptures.
Yes.
So, what can you recommend so that we, because us scholars are facing, I think I am facing that we don't find reliable source on the first go, because in Amazon we find the foreign authors
Yeah.
translations. So, what could be done on that
Yes, yes.
regard, sir?
Yeah, I think please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not into political science, but I think we still do not have an authentic critical edition of Arthashastra itself.
Sir,
Am I wrong?
Yes, sir.
Have we
Sama Shastris
Have
and
authentic?
yes,
Published
sir,
by?
authentic. Yes, sir.
Published by?
Sir,
Critical edition.
critical. Sir, after Sama Shastri, there is one another. I will let you know. I can't remember the name.
No, if sir is not agreeing, then
Okay.
oh, Patrick Oliver. Yeah.
They, I
Right.
understand, sir, but there
Right.
is another one. I can't remember the name of the author,
No,
but they have done the critical.
No, if sir is not agreeing with you, the final word is from sir.
Okay.
So we have to. So you have to be more careful now.
Okay.
And onus is on you to
Yes.
not misinterpret Arthashastra as you study Constitution and Dharma together.
Okay.
Be extremely careful. Maybe take help or guidance from Sanskrit scholars. Do you know Sanskrit a little bit?
No, sir.
Then
I can read and.
so you
all
have to
that-
do more
yes.
extra hard work
Yes,
and
sir.
maybe rely from maybe ask us, maybe email us, maybe email sir, and we
Yes,
can
sir.
help you or try to help you.
Thank you, sir.
जी mic.
एक्चुअली वो भी लॉयर है और मैं भी लॉयर हूँ, हम दोनों का सब्जेक्ट सेम
तभी
ही है।
आर्ग्यूमेंट शुरू हो गया.
नहीं वो संस्कृत नहीं जानती है सर, लेकिन हाँ मैं संस्कृत जानती हूँ। तो संस्कृत लिटरेचर में ऐसा कुछ है जो हम रेफर कर सकते हैं, तो वो चीज़ अगर पता हो राजधर्म में या धर्म नीति
बहुत है,
शास्त्र,
बहुत.
शांति पर्व।
Yeah. Yes. Bhishma. Bhishma is on his deathbed, Sharshaya pe Bhishma hai, and he is guiding Yudhishthir how he should do, follow his path. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
थैंक यू।
अर्थशास्त्र. रत्नाकर. Ratnagara means ocean of Rajadharma. Vidur Niti, Chanakya Niti. You asked for one, you got dozens, dozens of ideas. Yes, thank you. Super.
Firoz Babu.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for
Even
your
in the Rig Veda, there are
yeah.
ideas.
for your lecture. That's very interesting. You talked about theories and methods, though. In fact, I just want to know, though it was clear deliberation on theoretical aspects of religious studies, can you give certain ideas about the methodological and epistemological concerns or issues related to religious studies?
Yes. So those theories are the foundations. Those theories then later become methods, because Clifford Geertz is an anthropologist. Theory is based on anthropological work, field work that he did in Indonesia. So those who follow his theory will develop method, anthropological method based on that theory. So those are all intertwined, right? Similarly, psychological method, all those intertwined. Same with sociological even, yeah. All those are connected, interconnected.
So my question, if we see in the development context religion, we can see more temples are constructed, and it's also conserving and preserving our sacred sites, and at the same time it also destroys so many ancient structure and destroys old traditions. And in this context, what Dharma says, what do you think? We need more development, or we just let it as it?
It's a big question. Oh man. What's your name? Sorry, you were Prabha, Suprabha, right?
Suprabha Sahu.
Suprabha Sahu. I listened to you also. You presented on
Yes, sir.
Jagannath Mandir yesterday. Yes, very nice presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Suprabha, we have, I think all of us will agree, we lost so much in last 1,000 years, isn't it? So we have to restore our glory, isn't it? Nalanda University to start with, and many, many temples, monuments. So as long as we are restoring them, we have to do that. We can't stop, right? But have a seat. But I personally, you might disagree. Also, you don't get angry if I say what I'm going to say now. But I think personally, I would think that instead of trying to create new temples, we should first get our old glory back. Our old Ajanta Ellora. How many of you gone to Ajanta Ellora? Very less. Maharashtra. I've been in Maharashtra now for the last 5 years. My Maharashtrian cousins, friends have not yet been to Ajanta Ellora, but they're donating to build new temples in Pune or Mumbai. I don't like that personally. It's a very personal question you ask. So I'm in favor of so much to discover. We have not seen our existing temples. How many of you been to Madurai's Meenakshi Mandir? Okay, very few. Tirupati, Balaji, very few. तो अभी इंडिया ही नहीं देखा, पुराना इंडिया तो देख लो पहले, ओरिजिनल इंडिया, नया नया मंदिर बना रहे. That is my personal opinion.
Okay, but in the case of Ayodhya, I think the sorry, maybe it's controversial. Okay.
I think let's
That's it,
move on to the
personal.
next. Good word, good question. Yeah. So I already made the distinction in the beginning. Yeah. In the beginning, I tried to make the distinction. I've repeated many times that gender issues, or let's say caste or class issues, are not typically applied in theological studies, but they are applied in religious studies. That was the first sentence I said. So theology is to gain my moksha, gain my salvation, get into heaven and be with God forever, thinking from Christian or Islamic perspective, or moksha. वहाँ पे ये सब नहीं आता है, लेकिन religious studies में आ सकता, आता ही है, gender, caste, class सब आता. How will you? What do you think? Can you give an example? What do you think? How you're thinking? Right. 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 Okay, let me say one or two lines on Wendy Doniger and Jeffrey Kirpal. Jeffrey Kirpal was a student of Wendy Doniger in University of Chicago. No, many people may not know, not just you, I'm telling everyone. Right? So Kirpal was a student of Doniger. Kirpal is now at Rice University in Texas, where you are also, and I was also. And Doniger just retired from Chicago. Kirpal and Doniger applied the Freud's theory on Hindu traditions. That is exactly the third or fourth theory that I presented. So it was the traffic was from Freud to Hinduism, not the other way around. I think the question you asked was, can we do religion into psychology? The traffic is one way as of now, isn't it? So, and in Christianity also it has happened a lot. Freud has been applied in Christianity also a lot, and probably other traditions. Is it valid? Is it justified? That we have to study as an objective scholar student, and we can criticize. And I have published and criticized. I published a whole paper criticizing Freud from Hindu perspective. So Freudian theories interpret even Ras Leela extremely negatively, extremely problematic. How do we criticize? Not based on our belief. No, Krishna is Bhagavan, so how can we say negative things? No, but academically, challenge Freud, then challenge Kirpal and Doniger. That is what I try to do. Hope I.
Okay, we shall.
Oh,
We'll end up. We'll carry forward
Sir, मैं तो नहीं
the
थका आप तक।
conversation.
Time नहीं, time.
Thank you very much. It was well planned. He showed the ways to carry forward research. Well planned conference. Thank you very much. Good that you put this. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for your patient listening, and also thank you to the speaker and the chair for conducting this session. I would now like to invite Professor Naresh Chandra Sahu to present our speaker and our guest chair with the Uttarya.
Digitization work, another session over here. You are free to choose between these two. Another session in the next room, and one session in this room. Thank you.
No.